If Evil Dead were about zombies and what happened after the incident at the cabin, this movie would probably be its sequel. The Dead Next Door. I have the Ultimate Edition and the Anchor Bay Edition, both of which are awesome, but the Blu-ray transfer for the Ultimate Edition is definitely the best this film is ever going to look. Welcome to day 1 of my Scare Show 3, titled Demonic Dead Dread. Let us begin. The plot. A few years after the zombie apocalypse, an organization called the Zombie Squad, which comprises of a bunch of idiots whom make very poor decisions, are shooting and hacking their way through this whole ordeal. Meanwhile, a scientist with the best hat ever. I thought I was wrong once, but I made a mistake. Seriously, best hat ever! And his assistant, named Raimi, yeah, they do a lot of that in this movie, are working out ways to find a cure. Also, there's this whole cult story that isn't really in the forefront, but it does add something interesting into what could have been yet another cut-and-paste, low-budget zombie movie. I love the whole reason how zombies become zombies in this movie. It is something that is explained without being forced, and is actually relevant to the plot. Basically, all your cells die, except for the virus, which is now the only thing living in you. This is later almost solved when they inject the cure into someone who was recently bitten. He wasn't quite dead, so when he does turn, he still has his living cells, and is able to talk. I thought that was pure awesomeness. The characters are fine, I enjoyed them for what they were, and they were very distinguishable. I especially like Carpenter and his massive mullet. And yes, we get some characters named Raimi, Carpenter, and Savini in this movie. You couldn't go without Savini. Total awesomeness! And in case you don't know who I'm talking about, those are 3 last names of icons in the horror genre. But come on, you know that. This movie runs at a brisk 78 to 82 minutes, depending on which version you watch, and it never feels slow. Nothing takes too long, or is padded out to the point of becoming noticeably slow. This was also somewhat financed by Sam Raimi, but that was information he apparently did not want out, because I believe the director only mentioned him once on a certain DVD that I cannot find. The last 10 to 15 minutes are so much fun, and the whole scene in the rain is well shot and very effective. The whole film was shot on video. And it has that sort of grainy quality that I think adds to the movie so much so that it's very effective. It is not too polished, but it does everything it can to do the best of its abilities, and shows off some neat camera tricks. I also like how this and Intruder, which also had Sam Raimi's involvement, have the same ending shot with the camera zooming in on a screaming woman's mouth. Scott Spiegel also directed Intruder, and had a small role in this movie, Small World. My mother and I watched this film and enjoyed it. Hell, even my brother, who usually hates horror movies pre-2000s, said it was entertaining and had some good effects. The gore, speaking of the effects, they're awesome. Some really creative kills are in this movie, and what else is amazing is that the film only cost $75,000 to make. So did 100 Tears, which is about a killer clown and is probably just as gory, if not gorier. We get decapitations, severed limbs, ripped open stomachs, gory gunshot wounds, and tons of blood. The effects, for the most part, don't look too bad either. Even the zombies look awesome. The musical score, the CD comes with the Ultimate Edition. Yeah. And I was listening to it while writing this review. It is so heavy for a majority of it, and it is also very upbeat. It's dark and fun. Kind of not like Twilight. That's just tame and dumb. It also comes with the songs in the movie, which are a real treat. The acting is overdone sometimes, but I really enjoyed it. It had the right amount of seriousness to be taken as it's so bad it's good. This movie is so bad it's good, in every positive way, and it just works. I loved a lot about this movie, and I didn't have much negative things to say about it. The nitpicky things I'd have to say are things such as why the daughter doesn't remember who her real father is, even though he died probably just a few years prior, and she was in the same scene with him in the opening, and she was clearly a teenager, and some other very minor gripes, which can affect or benefit it, depending on how you look at it. Because shot on video, it looks like crap, but it definitely gave it a gritty and realistic look. Overall, I give The Dead Next Door a 4 out of 5. I'm Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Movie Reviews. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below to leave comments and subscribe.